What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Jorge Razo podcast. Acompañado con, like I said before, compa, when I just earlier, I'm a huge fan of yours, compa, la neta. La trayectoria de música que tiene, what you've developed with music, where you are now because of music as well. So, compa, thank you for taking the time here. Thank you for coming out here, or for allowing us to come out here, and just all in all, thank you, compa, for accepting to come on the podcast.
No, thank you, gracias. No dijo mi nombre, soy Edgar Rodríguez. Soy Edgar Rodríguez. Y por la neta, thank you, bro, la neta, gracias por venir hasta acá, to do the little, la platiquita aquí.
La platiquilla.
Que no es entrevista, estamos platicando.
Estamos platicando en buena onda. Yeah, appreciate it, compa.
Yeah, no, thank you, brother. I appreciate that good intro, man.
Compa, I know a lot of people that are going to be watching this, they don't need to fucking know who, like, no ocupan introduction. But, again, compa Edgar, one of the main reasons as to why I got into music.
Oh, shit.
One of the main reasons as to when I started understanding lo que era una primera y segunda voz, y lo que era un dueto, y lo que era, because back in the day, or I'm pretty sure a lot of people now are listening, they listen to music and they just hear one voice, and no captan that there's another voice in the background, or in your case, two voices that make one sound. Yeah. So, compa, más que nada, I want to start off, how you started in this music business, and how it is that you started La Agrupación, or just start from the beginning. But.
From the beginning, man, it's a long ass story, right? Pero empezamos. I've been singing, bro, since, desde que tengo uso de razón, I think. I want to say that I was like 3 or 4. Those are probably my oldest memories of being a singer.
Okay.
Yo cantaba, I would hear stuff on the radio, or, my mom listening to records, y cantaba. Y por cierto, my dad's a musician.
Okay.
Mi papá es músico. Mi papá y sus hermanos todos son músicos y cantan. Y they do something,
Was that like, were they trying to like etch you into getting into that, or was that just like naturally?
No, that was natural, bro. I think como para la música, tiene que ser natural. You can't really get forced into it, because then no le echas ganas,
You don't enjoy it.
And that goes pretty much for anything in life, Si te lo hacen que lo hagas a huevo, como que no lo haces con amor, no lo haces con la pasión, ¿no?
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was just like, I started singing, like I said, since I can remember. Y como a los 11, 12 is when I started getting into instruments. My first instrument was the keyboard, el piano, pues. Y eso todo pasó porque mi papá y sus hermanos y todo. Y su hermano, pues, era my dad and his brother, and then some friends. But his other brothers también son, they play something or they sing, whatever. Pero ellos ensayaban ahí en la casa, and then in the garage. So then they would practice like twice a week. Me imagino que it was like Tuesday, Thursday kind of thing, ¿no? Pero ahí dejaban todo all week.
Yeah.
Ya el viernes, terminaban, no digo, el viernes o el sábado temprano, they would
pack everything up.
Y se iban a las tocadas, se iban ellos primero, porque yo todavía no tocaba. Entonces, pero entre semana, cuando no estaban ellos ahí, I would go in there and fuck around with everything, a ver qué le hallaba. And then, so I gravitated towards the keyboard at first, y despuésito la batería, Those were two, como que de esas dos cosas son las que a mí me llamaron la atención, porque la pinche guitarra hasta la fecha, I don't know how to play it. I've tried and tried, como que mis dedos no me responden,
Pero como me mencionaba un poquito, sorry to interrupt you, compa, this was un grupo versátil, or grupero,
era un grupo
pues.
versátil, tocábamos así rolas de los Bookies, y que fucking Yonix, y que Temerarios, all that stuff, y despuésito de eso, pues entró muy fuerte que banda machos and that kind of stuff, when I started getting more into my own, started kind of looking for my own music, because todos los Wookiees and all that stuff, I mean, I love it to this day. It's my
amazing music.
Pero that was kind of influenced by my dad.
Yeah.
Porque my dad would listen to Wookiees, so I would listen to what my dad would listen, and to this day, like, como te digo, I love it. pero no fue cuando ya empecé un poquito como, kind of like, steer on my own way.
Yeah, like
And I
finding
started,
your music.
yeah, finding the music that I liked, y empezó con eso que banda machos y que la tecnobanda. And then entró lo de Chalino, and that's when it was like this is what I want to fucking do, bro.
Yeah.
So en el grupo yo tenía un acordeón de teclas. I compré un acordeón de teclas.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I borrowed one. Y con ese, I would play songs de Chalino y corridos y that kind of stuff.
So how old were you cuando empezaste a involucrarte en la agrupación?
En la agrupación como los 12, 13.
A los 12, 13,
Yeah,
entonces ya empezaban
yeah.
a ensayar, a ir a tocadas and stuff like that.
Pues fíjate que mi jefe me enseñó lo que eran los tonos,
Mm-hmm.
Mi jefe y mi tío, they would show me the tonos, so I would, play them on the piano. And from there, pues, I would learn melodies y ya podía acompañarlos. So, me acuerdo que la primera vez que fuimos a tocar, que yo fui con ellos, pues, a tocar, me sabía como 6 canciones, melodías, pues,
Okay, yeah.
And then the rest was my tío playing requinto and me acompañando,
Okay, yeah.
So he would be like, "Re", and then fucking,
How nerve-wracking was that?
bro,
¿Qué tan nervioso estabas tu primera tocada? Like,
fuck, bro, no manches, nomás de acordarme me duele la panza, Pero fíjate que las tocadas, I always say, is the best training, bro.
Yeah.
O sea, tocas y tocas y tocas, and it's just the best training.
Yeah.
So for me, I've always been fearless, bro, se puede decir, And no lo digo en la forma mamona, pero yo lo digo en la...
Not too cocky, pero...
Yeah, yo lo digo en el aspecto de que...
Hay que
fui aventado.
Yeah.
Yo siempre fui aventado. So, siempre me aventaba. Mi dad me decía de chiquito, hey, íbamos a una fiesta. A ver, vente a cantar una canción. Vámonos, pues. Y me ponía a cantar.
Damn,
como quien dice, he trained me,
Yeah.
Mi jefe me entrenó a perder los nervios y todo. Entonces, ya, once it came time to performing, pues, igual, I mean, obviously sí me daba nervios. To this day, ¿para qué me hago pendejo? To this day, a veces I still get nervous, depending on how big the show is y todo ese rollo, cómo se prendía la raza. Pero ya ahora se convirtieron como nervios de los buenos, ¿no?
De los buenos,
Where
¿no?
you're excited to go on stage. You're like, fuck, I'm gonna fucking go on stage. I'm gonna
Yeah, definitely.
do my thing, So ahí fue cuando empezó, ya como despuésito de eso, I was in high school already, y te digo, pues estaba bien fuerte lo chanino. I started learning how to use the studio because my dad compró una máquina de grabar y unos micrófonos, and he set up a little studio in the garage,
Mm-hmm.
which was, this is like fucking 30, I don't even know how long. It was like 30-something years ago. And so then he had a friend that would do recordings there. Yo me metía ahí a hacerme pendejo and I would watch him. Pero me gustaba, So then un día el vato, he like packed up and left, and he left unas recordings empezadas. So then they started calling my pops, hey, que we want to finish our recordings. My dad told me, hey, pues, ¿tú le sabes? I'm like, I think so, I think I got it, Diles que vengan. So they came, we finished the albums. Y pues I guess, I mean, I haven't, this has been so long that I don't even know cómo salieron. Pero they were happy, so se fueron. So de ahí como que me dio más, like a little more confidence.
Yeah.
Y de ahí después de eso me grabé yo mi primer disco. I met some guys, se llaman Clave Norteña. Bueno, se llamaban Los Plebes del Norte. Después they became La Clave Norteña. Which was Alex Arellano, Gustavo Arellano, que es el baterista del grado 7.
El Gus.
Pancho Díaz y mi compadre Álvaro Díaz, su brother.
Okay.
They were Los Plebes del Norte. And I met them at a park. They were playing. Me and my dad llevamos el sonido ese día.
Mm-hmm.
So then I met them there, and I said, hey, you know what? I have a little studio at home. Let's make a trade.
So, disculpe que lo interrumpa. So, you guys armaron un pequeño, like a small studio, or like era just
a little studio. Yeah,
yeah.
It was completely fuck.
Yeah.
It was super, like beginner. Like it was just very beginner. Y haz de cuenta que yo me enseñé solo. I never went to school for it. Like, mind you, there was no YouTube back then.
Yeah, no.
O sea, la
definitely.
poquita información que encontraba yo eran libros que de repente,
or seeing that guy,
or
other
seeing
guy.
people do it, Y así, como dicen, echarnos a perder se aprende, That's exactly what happened with me. And so after I did my album, I told Mariano, which is the guy that sings with me now, I met him in 6th grade. Y le dije, hey, ¿sabes qué? Estoy grabando un disco con estos vatos que I just met, la chingada, se los presenté. And he said, you know what? My tío said he'll pay for the recording. O que me presta la feria, something like that. Total que his tío came, he paid them, he paid me to record them. And I did his album too.
Mm-hmm.
So then we did the trade. O sea, porque con esos vatos les dije, hey, I'll do a trade, I said, yo les grabo a ustedes un disco y ustedes me acompañan en un disco.
Oh, okay, okay,
Dice,
okay.
bet, vámonos pues. So then we started recording, and I told Mariano, hey, I'm recording with these guys. He said, I want to record too. His deal paid. So we did 3 albums. El de Mariano, el mío, solistas,
Mhm.
and el de los plebes del norte.
Okay, so okay, so you met him in 6th grade. Did you guys talk previously about, oh, we should start something, or we sound good together, or
No, that
cómo
was
cómo
until
llegó eso,
later.
pues?
That wasn't, o sea, so, haz de cuenta que con ese primer disco that I did at my house for me and for Mariano, we went to Pedro Rivera,
Oh, okay.
¿verdad? Cintas Acuario in Long Beach. And he signed us as solistas. So, a cambio del master, he said, bring me the master, because I'm going to give you another recording. We're like, oh shit, another album, fuck it. You know, we just wanted to record. We had no idea what the business part of it was. We were just happy to be recording y que
Signed.
alguien estaba pagando, you know?
Yeah.
Que alguien nos estaba pagando las pinches grabaciones, you know?
Yeah.
To me, that was like, fuck, that's enough. That's more than enough for me because we
Yeah.
were not known. Total que en el segundo disco de Mariano, yo le metí segunda on 2 songs.
Okay.
Little pedacitos en el coro, en el estribillo, le dicen. And when we heard that, we're like, oh shit, that shit sounds interesting.
Good.
This is like 1995, bro.
Apenas estaban haciendo yo.
Yeah, 1995. so then we heard it and we're like, this shit sounds pretty interesting. So then we told Pedro, hey Pedro, check this out, check this out. We told Lupillo first, hey, check it out, Lupillo. He's like, that sounds badass. Tell my dad. So then llegó Pedro, we told him, hey Pedro, check it out. And then le digo, hey, denos chance de grabar un disco así a dueto. And he said, dale.
So, did you understand the concept of duetos back in the day, or?
Yeah, because yo ya cantaba primera y segunda, tercera,
Pero a lo que me refiero es que normalmente cuando una persona tiene una agrupación, no son. I never really heard of duetos like that, you know. So it was just, ahí está la primera voz y la segunda voz,
y
nomás acompañaba. Y hay veces,
sí, que no canta,
no canta la segunda voz. Entonces,
sí.
Yo nunca capté none of that, you know. Like I was just like, okay, that's the singer and that's it. Like I never even knew that there was a segunda voz in the back.
Voz,
and then when I started hearing you guys, I started hearing you guys. Ya capté más bien like, oh, there's two voices here, you know.
Yeah, sí.
And you guys are just acompañándose the whole time. And I didn't understand like what a dueto was. I just thought.
Like, pues sí, pues el dueto como quien dice cantamos the whole song.
Whole song.
All the songs.
Yeah.
Complete. And it was weird because it's weird, digo, because haz de cuenta que solos I feel like cantamos bien culero. Pero ya juntos we make a fucking noise.
There's something there,
que la gente le gustó y por algo no pegamos solista, right?
Yeah.
You know? Entonces ya cuando nos juntamos after when we told Pedro, he said, no, pues dele, we recorded that first album. And immediately we saw a difference. Haz de cuenta que hasta Pedro me dijo, hey, ¿sabes qué? Dice, este disco que sacaron a dueto vendió más que los dos de cada quien. Which was fucking 4 albums worth of music, you know?
Yeah.
Y ese disco había vendido más. Dice, ¿por qué no graban otro? And we're like, fuck, another album? Fuck, yeah, let's do it, you know? He was paying for everything. So we get back in the studio, and then we record el disco de Se Les Peló Baltasar. This is 1996. We go back in there, we record the album, and when that one came out is when we started hearing, like, I started hearing my music in the cars, you know?
Yeah.
Porque back then there was no social media.
No. It was all word of mouth.
Word of mouth and
whatever's on the radio.
And whatever's on the radio, exactamente. Y por ejemplo, we would go to Pacific, ahí en Huntington Park. Esa calle, pues, it's infamous, you know? It was hacían cruising back then. On the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, había people cruising by.
Bumping music.
Bumping music. And whatever people were bumping in those cars is what was popping, you know?
Yeah.
Entonces, al principio, pues, de solista, obviamente, pues, nada, you know? We all want to hear shit. Y ya on my second album, actually, de solista, I heard a couple of times. Very, very rare. Pero ya con voces, on the second album de Baltasar, I started hearing more cars pass by with our music. Oh, shit, ya se estaba. I felt something was happening. And it was very underground, porque, pues, te digo, no social media, no radio. We had no radio. Then salió the next album, really good sales, and, se miraba movimiento. The 4th album came out, and we started recording the 5th album when we got called from our manager that we had back then. After like our third album, we got a manager.
Okay.
We started doing little gigs here and there, and they started calling us for tocadas. And yeah, right before we got on the radio, we had another manager ya que nos estaba poniendo a trabajar un chingo, you know.
Pero ya no era Pedro Rivera, it was...
No, well, Pedro Rivera was our label.
Our label, okay.
Since Quality was the label, they would take out all the albums y todo, and then we had a manager que él nos conseguía las fechas, you know.
Okay,
So, el primero nos consiguió fechas, you know, nos conseguía fechas y nos tenía, you know, una, dos al fin de semana. When the new guy came in, he was like, hey, you know what, yo los puedo agarrar más trabajo, and blah, blah, blah. By this time, Voces was already, like, pretty hot underground, you know?
Okay.
You would go to Pacific and you hear all the fucking cars bumping our shit, you know? I was like, oh, shit. And so it was like a crazy little strange wave that como que se sentía, you know, que algo iba a pasar.
Like a good sensation, like a good fucking feeling.
Sí, a huevo. So when the new manager came in, he said, you know what, he told us, hey, come to the office. We had a nice little office in Hollywood, so we're like, oh, shit. You know,
so, if you don't mind me asking, who was the manager?
Rodolfo Portillo.
Rodolfo Portillo,
yeah. Y total que, pues, he had a nice little office. Ahí fuimos, and we signed with them. That same night, he called me, okay, para la semana que entra, el viernes tienes aquí, aquí. El sábado, aquí. El domingo, aquí. Dije, what the fuck's going on? Dije, no mames. So we started, pues, obviously, we started making, you know, a bit of money. And then immediately after that, maybe a few months after that, he tells me one day, he calls me, hey, guess what? ¿Qué pasó? Dice, nos van a empezar a tocar en la radio.
Oh, shoot.
Dije, no mames, ¿a poco sí? Dice, la que buena. Dije, what the fuck, are you serious? Dice, digo, ¿qué rola? Dice, se les peló Baltasar. And I was like, that's an old song.
Yeah.
We've already done like 3 albums after that.
Yeah.
Dice, pero esa es la que quieren tocar. Así, you know what? I don't give a fuck, que la toquen.
Que toque lo que quiera, just put me on the radio.
Dice, va a tocar esa. Dije, pues que la toque, you know? Y and they started playing it, and y no manches, like it was just like
immediate.
Exploded.
Yeah.
It was like because we were the first underground band
to make it out
to go into the radio.
Yeah.
It was that underground, and so it was a movement, you know.
Yeah.
It was a movement because prior to that, everybody that was on the radio was mainstream.
Yeah.
You know, Tucanes, Tigres, you know, those guys are the big guys. Today's day, they're the big guys, you know.
They're still the big guys.
Yeah. Y total que pues it was more mainstream, Huracanes and all that stuff. So for a local band, underground, to get on the radio, it was like
huge.
And then con corridos, underground corridos, which was because back then obviously you would hear Corridos Los Pérez and you would hear the classics.
The classics.
Pero aquí this was like more street, you know.
Yeah.
Entonces cuando entró la radio pues explotó esa madre. They were players, no te miento, 20 veces al día. Estamos hablando de que eso sería, y I'm think I'm partly I'm even saying a low number because I remember I would hear sometimes twice an hour. Now we were doing 24 hours. That's at least 48 spins. You know, if you do it twice an hour. And it was something con la gente llamaba antes complacían y la gente llamaba, hey, me tocas una canción, ¿cuál quieres? Se les pelaba pasar con la voz del rancho y luego al rato otra vez, hey, apenas la tocamos, la quiero escuchar y así estaban, bro. So haz de cuenta que it just immediately exploded and when that happened, we just started. Ya estábamos trabajando un chingo. Ya con eso it got crazy, man.
So if you don't mind me asking this, I mean, obviously empezaron su carrera como queriendo ser solistas, right?
Yeah.
Was there ever like an ego thing where it's like, oh, I wanted to be the first voice, I wanted to be the second voice type thing, or was it?
No, because my voice is naturally kind of high pitched. And Mariano's voice is low, you know.
Yeah.
So I've always been, and actually I love doing segunda.
Yeah.
To me, it's there's an art to doing segunda. You know.
Yeah. There's
I'm
freaking
not saying
art to that.
I'm good at segundero, pero there's definitely an art to doing it, you know, so you have fun with it, you know? Es un poquito más cansado, you know, cuando ya empiezas a cantar varias horas, pero sí, I love doing segunda, you know? So there was no question about it that I was going to be a segundero. Y pues sí, dude, it was just something that just came naturally for us, and once we saw that we were on the radio and that we started working, it was just like, fuck, bro, like, it to this day, you know, it makes me happy and it gives me a good feeling to hear, because they still play our music on the radio, you know. Those songs quedaron, pues,
bien sellados en lo que viene siendo
bro, neta,
lo norteño. Again,
Yeah.
Usted fue uno de los causantes de unas buenas pedas de mi jefe. You know what I mean?
A lot of people tell us that, bro. Everybody tells us, hey, diablo en botella, güey, no mames. Me puse unas pinches pedotas. Esa pinche canción, bro, la neta, nos ha dado tantas satisfacciones, bro.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, you know. And to this day, it's a song that as soon as we go on stage, it's the first one they ask for. And they'll ask for it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
7 times. And that's a song that you know, man, esa canción le debo pues una carrera entera, bro.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, again, it's crazy to actually think about like how long ago se grabó.
Yeah.
And how much of an impact it actually made, and to even hear it now, and como le digo, I fucking hear that shit now, and I'm just like, God damn, this song is still, todavía te da ganas de pistear, you know, todavía te da ganas de like pasar toda la pinche noche ahí just listening to music, and especially your guys' voices, you know, you guys.
Oh, thank you, bro. You know what? It's such a big blessing, man. You know, nos tocó mucha suerte, bro. I always pues, you know, como dice, pues la suerte no existe, es trabajo, you
Es
know?
trabajo, yeah.
Fue un chingo de trabajo, la neta. No creas que fue así nomás de la noche a la mañana. Fue porque, pues, prior to Voces, I did a bunch of other stuff que no funcionó, you know? Pero it's very satisfying, bro, to on a personal level, you know? To know that something that we did had that much of an impact. And not just that song, pues tuvimos muchas canciones que hasta la fecha... if I fucking, you go to any quinceañera and you hear Micaela, Cabrón Pelado, all these songs that were recorded, you know, and then you hear El Diablo, you hear Baltasar, you hear Me Gusta Tener la Voz, you hear all these songs that we did, and it's crazy because, you know, we did them in my home studio in the garage, and then I would hear them on the radio, and that alone would bring me so much joy. To say, fuck, I did that in my garage and it's on the fucking radio. I'm in Miami promoting this shit with Don Francisco and I did that shit in my garage. Si supieran, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy, bro. But I think I've always taken...
Francisco. I've
always taken so much pride in what I do for the, you know, when I produce the albums, and it's something that for me it's very personal, and it's something that I take, como te digo, a lot of pride and joy doing it.
So you guys start taking off, bro. You guys start working all the time with your new manager. Están pegando donde sea. With all that work, I'm pretty sure your voice gets tiring.
For sure.
Were there any like classes that you did? Was there anything that you guys had to, you know, learn on the way también? Like, hay que calmar la voz un poco, or?
Pues definitely, it was a lot of practice. It's a lot of practice. Me acuerdo en una ocasión, yo pienso que duré como unos 6 meses malo de la garganta, bro, because it was just, we wouldn't stop. We would do like 5 shows a week. And a veces más, güey. Sometimes we would go to Chicago, bro. I remember, I still have that number in my head. We did 9 shows over the weekend in Chicago.
Wey.
So me acuerdo que una vez duré como 6 meses.
Was it like 1 hour? My bad. Was there like 1 hour shows?
Yeah, 1 hour shows.
Okay.
Yeah, so
una tanda, pues.
You would do like 2 Friday, o sea, pero no es como que you would do 2 in the same place.
No.
Haces uno y pack up, boom, go to the next place. So all that, y luego a veces está haciendo frío,
all
snowing.
That,
so all that shit affects you. Te enfrías y luego ya para the next show
ya
andas frío. When you start ya andas más ronquillo.
Yeah.
And then you do, so we would do a bunch of shows a week, and our manager just, you know, he was just fucking had us busy as fuck, and it was the demand for the band was so high, and so we were working a lot. No tenía tiempo para recuperarme, you know, porque por lo regular, pues, ahorita ya, you know, the way we do our tours is very more chill, you know. We work on the weekends, we come home and I rest. Well, I don't rest, I come in the studio, but I rest vocally, you know, I rest vocally. And y pues, sabes, pues, en esos tiempos, pues, no, we would do too many shows, so no tenía tiempo de alivianarme, and we were just making money, bro. We were just like fucking, I was just stacking chips, como dicen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hay veces we complain about too much work sometimes, you know, pero hay que realmente saber when there's work, hay que aprovecharlo, you know. We gotta take advantage of the moment. If it's doing good, if it's hot, let's fucking keep it going.
Yeah, for sure, no, porque pues uno nunca sabe, you know, el día de mañana a lo mejor no se puede o ya no está el trabajo ahí, you know, so I mean, I have the same mentality, bro. To this day, I love to work, bro. You know, I'm blessed to do something that I love. You know, sometimes I don't even feel like I'm working, bro. You know, I mean, uh, this is talking about the studio, you know. I mean, the road too. The road is it's kind of tiring.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't lie.
But I'm pretty sure you have your best experiences on the road as well.
Oh yeah,
también,
no,
¿no?
I've had some amazing experiences, bro. I mean, it's just, you know, the road has definitely, it cultures you, you know, to go to different places and see different stuff in different cities and different, you know, you go to Mexico and you see all these different places that you sing at, and it definitely shows you how blessed we truly are, you know, doing what we do, you know. And I remember this one time we were on the road, like in the middle of, I don't know where the fuck, in the country over there by the East Coast, and then we stopped. We were on our tour bus. We stopped at this little ass gas station. We got off, all of us, you know, oh, fucking bien mamón. Chingadas, en un pinche hora. And there was this little white boy behind the counter, and he looked at us and he was like, "You guys are musicians?" We're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Where you guys from?" We're like, "Oh, we're from LA." You know, he's like, "Man," he was like, "That's so awesome."
Yeah.
And you could like, I saw in ese momento dije, "Fuck, this kid will probably never leave this city," you know.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
and you know, so those are little reminders of
Yeah.
how lucky we are to do
Fortunate
what
we
we
are.
do, you know. Aunque a veces I complain because, you know, porque sí es matado, güey. O sea, la gente
Yeah.
dice, no, pues ya mira toda madre, nomás cantan y la
Oh,
chingada.
I hate
No,
that
ni madres,
commentary.
yeah, bro. Pero it's, you know, sometimes it takes us fucking 15 hours to get there, you know.
¿Cuál trabajo si estás haciendo lo que te gusta?
Sí, sí, sí.
Tú nomás vas y te pones pedos en las tocadas. Tú ni
Yeah. Bueno,
trabajas.
eso ya es parte de, you know.
Eso ya es parte del show, pues.
Sí, no, pero it's like, it takes you, la gente no mira what it takes to get to the show. Sometimes, you know, you fucking gotta drive for 15 hours and llegas a la pinche tocada a veces al puro ras, you know, para subir al escenario, ni tiempo de bañarte. Vámonos, you gotta go.
Yeah.
And it's happened like that, where you have a tour that fucking tonight you're in fucking Chicago, Illinois. Tomorrow you're in fucking St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yeah.
So you got to drive fucking, you know, 15 hours to get there. And so those kind of tours, they fucking drain you. Llegas el pinche fin de semana en la casa bien, o sea, la gente dice, nomás trabajaron 3 días, sí, pero fueron como, how many hours in fucking, that's like fucking 64 hours or whatever, 72 hours, perdón, that you were on the road, o sea, sin parar, because once you leave your house, you're already working, bro.
Yeah.
Ya andas en chinga, you know, ya andas peligrando, ya andas sin, a veces, you know, no
Sin comer,
a veces sin bañarte, y para llegar a tocar una hora.
Yeah.
What the fuck, you know, it's I mean, obviously, this is not as matado as trabajando, you know, some hard labor.
Yeah.
Pero sí es, you're away from home, you're away, you know, peligrando. And having said that, pues, you know, in the years that we've been on the road, pues, I mean, I've had experiences that are bad experiences that I've been on the road.
Yeah.
You know, that have happened or that happened to us, and so at the end of the day, it's still a job. You know?
It's still a job. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's en cualquier trabajo, there's it's hard times. No, it's not all fucking peaches and fucking ice cream, you know. So it's tough. Cualquier trabajo, sea fucking recogiendo botes en la calle, whatever. There's something hard to it, you know.
Y adding to it, de repente ha salido ocasiones que, you know, we fucking drove, you know, 20 hours or 15 hours to get to where we go.
Yeah.
And we play la chingada, and the fucking promoter takes off with the money. So you don't get paid.
Yeah.
So you're like, what the fuck? It's happened to us a couple of times, you know. There's shady people in this world, you know. And as much as you protect yourself, a veces no, pues que el depósito ahí está. You get to the show o a veces no hay gente.
Yeah.
Y dices, a la verga, vine hasta acá y no hay gente.
Yeah.
No hay gente, ¿sabes qué? Pues no hay feria. Dices, fuck.
Yeah.
What do? Pues tough it out, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta go.
Y a veces si hay poca gente, like, a veces te sientes hasta más comprometido to fucking play for those people.
No,
aunque
and we'll go up. La neta, a mí me vale madre si está lleno o no está lleno. You know, I go on stage and I do the same exact show. Si hay gente y si no hay gente, you know.
Pero pues ya estás con el conocimiento de que you're not gonna get paid your full cut, you know. You're not gonna get paid this.
At the end of the day, pues, you know, así pasa, you know. Así como tenemos días buenos, tenemos días malos.
Yeah.
Y el que diga que no, pues, la neta, estaría echando mentiras. Me ha tocado estar en shows con grupos más grandes que nosotros. Like, and está solo too, you know.
Yeah.
And it's part of the show, you know. We've been doing it for so long, so we already know. We're used to it, you know. We're used to that.
At what point in your career did you, or actually, before we get to that, what stage or what show where you were like, damn, we fucking made it? You know, you got that one realization moment, like, fuck, we're doing it now, you know?
Man, I don't even know. There's so many shows like that. In the beginning, in the beginning, I actually it didn't really register for me for a while because it was happening so fast. It was just happening so quickly that we didn't have time to really think about it. But I remember we did some shows in Chicago, and man, just the people were like, it was just like you were hearing your ears like, it was really fucking out. And I remember that I would be sweating and fucking with goosebumps. To this day, I get goosebumps, bro. Like it's, and I think it's just the power of the people, of the fucking roar and all that shit. But I think those shows were for me. You know how they say that when you have a memory, like a memory from a long time ago, it's because there was like an emotional connection to it.
Yeah.
So to me, those shows were like that. They were just like. I mean, aparte que la gente allá en Chicago, we have a lot of fans over there, and they're very like son bien entregados. When they love you, they fucking love you,
You've said that before on a podcast as well.
Yeah.
That Chicago has one of those fan bases that
That son bien entregados,
that they either they really love you or they fucking hate you. Simon.
Yeah, and I remember over there, pues we've had some amazing shows out there. I mean, no nomás ahí. There's a bunch of places like San Jose, California. Those are all the shows that city was always very good to us.
It's weird. It's weird. How the music travels. Well, at least back then, how it traveled.
Yeah.
Because I remember even with the Gerardo Ortiz stuff when he was coming out, pues ya había sacado aquí like all the new I think it was like the Ni Hoy Ni Mañana disco.
Yeah.
Y me acuerdo que I already had the fucking thing on my what was it, iPod or whatever the fuck it was, but I had it.
Yeah.
Yo ya lo tenía on my phone, or I don't remember what it was. And I went out to San Jose to see some family out there, and it was like they've never even seen this whole fucking playlist. Or
that's how music travels, bro.
Or they were barely like listening to him like with his fucking troquero locochon fucking, and I was telling him like, oh, like this dude's already fucking popping out there, and he was like, they're like, oh no, apenas sacó este pinche.
Pre-internet.
Well, it wasn't even pre-internet, but it was like
pre-social media.
Because I think Facebook was already pegando, but it was like no Instagram, like it wasn't traveling as fast.
I don't think the word of viral was even a thing. You know what? Like a lot of people would tell us, like, because in Mexico people would listen to our music, and it was people that iban de aquí para allá, cuando iban a las fiestas and all that shit, llevaban los CDs de nosotros, los cassettes and shit. And that's how a lot of people found out about us, in Mexico. And y es como si se rolaba la música antes. I remember back then you would go to a discoteca, a record store.
Yeah.
Para los que no saben.
¿Para qué lo quieres
there were stores that would sell.
That
would actually have CDs. To go inside and fucking
pick it out like this.
Let me see that cassette, and you'd be like, oh, okay, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
And so you would go and then they would be like, you'd be like, oh, ¿qué lo nuevo? No, pues esto está bueno y esto y esto y eso. It was word of mouth, you know. So then I remember I would go to Prahin. Prahin, Prahin, the company Prahin, they originally had a record store distributor.
Yeah.
Two of them on Pacific Boulevard. Una tienda chiquita, and then the big one, which is the distributor. Entonces, I would go y me hice bien amigo de un vato que se llama Hugo, y otro compa que I still talk to, Freddy, que ellos eran los que venían ahí, y they would work there. So me hice bien compa con ellos, and so I would go there and just hang out, And y de vez en cuando we would do like this is todavía cuando era solista. I would do like little flyers. Oh, este viernes Edgar Rodríguez, el compa, firmando autógrafos. Nobody, who the fuck? People were like, ese cabrón que like, nobody knew who I was.
Yeah.
Pero that term, fake it till you make it kind of shit.
Yeah.
We were doing that. And so then I would do like little flyers and then put it on there, and then I would be there G'd up, la boots y la chingada.
Simón.
Y llegaba la gente, and then...
¿Y ese güey quién es el de la esquina?
Va una quisiera. And I would sign like, cassettes and CDs.
Yeah.
Ahí la va, I mean, like, people, like they would show up and they'll be like, oh, mire, si quiere, compra este cassette. Y aquí se lo firma, aquí está el artista. I'd be like, oh, shit. So ya lo compraban y ahí se lo firmaban, you know. It was just like,
Ya muy a huevo lo compraban a veces.
sí, ya bien comprometidos, you know. Pero it was just like, you know, we were, so me and Mariano would do that, you know.
Yeah.
Me and Mariano have always been very close, and we've kind of like mirrored each other's career. So I would do something and you know, or he would do something and we would do it together. Porque éramos compas hasta la fecha. Somos, you know, we're like brothers.
Yeah.
You know. Can you believe, on a side note, me and Mariano have never, and I'm talking never, have had a fight or a
Argument or any sort.
zero. That, and then people, they don't believe that shit. I'm like,
It's really hard to believe because there's so much stress involved in this business as well.
I mean, we've had disagreements, como todo, you know, and pero no, nunca nos hemos que fuck it, okay, nah. There's always been that one line of respect we never cross.
Yeah. Nunca va a haber ese Edgar, el ex vocalista de.
No, nos apoyamos un chingo en todo lo que hacemos, and you know, it's and people always say, you know, it's something that's always been 50-50.
Yeah.
Pa que no haya pedos, you know.
Yeah, because uno tiene, especially when you're working in whatever industry.
Yeah.
Tienes que tener that fucking line of respect, you know, that
There has to be.
And that great communication, so that you guys actually know, okay, sabes que a esto no le parece a tal persona, let's not do it, you know, let's have that camaraderie.
See, and that's always important, bro, and never let the ego get in between, you know, because a lot of people, as soon as there starts to be a little bit of como éxito, empiezan los egos, you know, empiezan, you know, yo soy esto y yo acá y yo soy el que canto o yo soy el que hago esto, and that kind of shit just fucks everything up, you know.
And we like to act like it's not like it's not a well-known thing in this industry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, I'm not asking you to name names, but I'm pretty sure that, excuse me, that you know musicians like that you know singers like that you know people that one day they were like, oh, so cool, blah, blah, and the next they're just like, man. Oh, yo ya soy tal persona, háblenme con respeto.
Who are you again now? Yeah.
Who are you again?
Yeah, no, it happens, bro. A lot of people, they let it get to their head, bro, and I always tell them, you know, don't let it get to your head, because especially in the music business, and you know, show business, it can be very beautiful, but it can also be very cruel.
Yeah.
La subida puede ser bien chingona, pero también la bajada puede ser bien culera, you know? Y muchas veces lo que pasa que los pinches egos, they start getting in between and se les sube la cabeza a alguien, and it just, they start acting shitty with everybody on their way up, or when they're up there, and then once they start going down, pues nadie los ayuda, they'll be like, ahí te va, sale cabrón, ahí te va, arréglatela solo. And that's what happens because, I mean, you can't treat people like shit, bro. You gotta be cool. You know, to this day, I've never felt like an artist. I've never felt like oh, yo soy verga, you know? No. I mean, I'm always in the fucking street, me vale madre, you know, me gusta. I like to be a normal ass dude, you know? And I feel like I'm a normal ass dude. I mean, I have a cool job, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I have a really cool job, but
you carry yourself like that, and you can tell by meeting la persona, you're like, oh, la forma como te habla, you know, obviously it says a lot about the person. Again, You've met some. I've met some fucking dudes, dude. Like,
no, bro.
Que, just by looking at them and like, oh, what's up? ¿Qué tal? Oh, cool. Like, you know, not even like, how's it going? Nothing, but like, oh, ¿qué onda? Like, muy a huevo el saludo.
I don't understand that, bro. I don't understand that shit. I mean, it's just, to me, nunca ha sido así. A mí me gusta ser a toda madre, güey. Porque pues nunca sabe uno con quién está uno ahí platicando, or, you know. I mean, I will say this, though. There are times where you're just not in the mood, you know, and no por mamón, pero you have a fucking headache, or you're having problems, te peleas con la vieja, I don't know, anything, you know, whatever thing, and you're not in the mood, you know. A veces que we go, you know, when we go to tocadas, you know, whatever, you know, you're tired, or I don't know, you know, it could be anything, you know. And I mean, I try to take care of everybody, pero de repente, pues, sí, you know, there's been occasions, you know, where, or you're sitting with your family and you're going, hey, you know, you're comiendo, hey, can I take a picture? Be like, hold on, bro, let me take a picture. Let me clean my hands, let me fucking wipe my mouth, and let me
the problem with being a quote unquote celebrity is that you're the celebrity, right? So it's like you always have to be on celebrity mode, pues, como quien dice. And which sucks, también, como dices, hay veces anda bien entrado aquí en pinche platillo de bistec y hey, let's take
carren su jugo y la
chingada. Sí, buddy. Ahí bien entrado, que first bite and then, hey, can I take a picture? Like,
yeah. I appreciate it, though. Like, la neta, no crean, no. And if you guys ever see me, con toda confianza, ya sí tengo, a lo que iba también es, o sea,
no when come up to me,
Yeah. No, la neta, no, I appreciate that shit, la neta, porque para poder decir que la gente después de 28 años me siguen pidiendo fotos porque soy Voces del Rancho, like, no mames, güey, o sea, that's a blessing, that's a complete blessing. Pero pues sí, como te digo, pues a veces andamos on the road, fuck, 20 hours or whatever, andando en la chinga and si andas cansado, si te llega, it gets to everybody, you get tired, andas desvelado, and pero sí, pues at the end of the day, it's still a blessing. Yeah.
It's crazy how you have, again, you said you've been at this for a while, and you're still performing at different fucking venues. I just saw this past weekend that you were out of town performing at two different locations, two different places, and todavía para decir, fuck, like, I'm still in the business. I'm still in the game. I'm still fucking going to shows, and people are still receiving us with a huge pop. That just goes to show what impact you really made on the music scene,
It's crazy, bro. To this day, te digo, I've always taken it with a grain of salt. I never try to be like, oh, yeah, como te digo. And it's a trip, though, to see that after so long, people still fucking bump our music.
And to see the different, the different agrupaciones que han recorrido este pinche,
for sure.
This whole music scene, different styles, different, and you guys are still, one of the big agrupaciones.
Pues I wouldn't say big, pero pues el como quien dice, pues el nombre sí quedó, quedó plasmadito ahí, and pues la gente apoyó, I always want to say, pues, we came out at the right time, and obviously, pues, I'm sure there was some kind of talent that people enjoyed from it, and pues to this day, I mean, it resonates still, and it resonates with a lot of the younger kids like yourself, I mean, a lot of people have told me the same thing you told me. Dad, my dad, my dad used to bump you, my mom and my dad se ponían unas pedas, and that's where I heard you guys. And so, por eso digo, we came out at the right time.
Me chingué las rodillas ahí con el camarón pelado, güey, y todo el rollo.
Yeah, bro. Y fíjate que when we came out, I had a bunch of like cholos, bro, that would come up to me. Hey, bro, I used to fucking dress like a cholo, and now I dress paisa because of you guys, because of Baltazar, and I was like, what the fuck? So I think it definitely impacted, in a positive way.
That is a great thing that you didn't mention that. That was a big ass scene, no? That fucking.
Oh yeah.
I mean, around here, como Lupillo Rivera, Hilguero, and all that. Like they were like thugged out. Who was it? Hilguero's brother. Yeah. So like they all looked thugged out and all that stuff, but then they fucking wearing those big chalino suits and all this stuff, and I used to be like, what, like no, and in my head, pues, no, it didn't coincide, like it shouldn't go together, but it's going together,
It is,
And then I would see that también, like at parties and stuff like that, you see the fucking cholos or family friends that were cholos, but fucking wearing all these fucking Chalino suits y todo el pedo, and I was just like, damn, that was
the power of Chalino, bro. He impacted so many people.
Yeah.
Shit, he impacted my career for sure.
Yeah.
Because when I heard Chalino, I was like, oh shit, I want to sing like that. That's what I want to do. Como te digo, that's to me that was the point in my life where I decided what I really wanted to go, what I really wanted to do.
Y como we were mentioning a little bit before, la imitación, right? So once you start like, oh, I want to sound like that guy, you tend to try to imitate a bit of your idols en la música.
For sure. Yo, pues te digo, empecé con Chalino. He was the one that inspired me to sing, and then pues que Leonel y que Chalinillo, those guys were my my childhood heroes, and now they're my friends. It's like it's a trip. To this day, I fan out with them. You know, they're my homies. You know, like we FaceTime all the time, and fucking and it's, but it's a trip because at one point and I've told him, you know, I told Lionel, ¿sabes qué, güey? La neta, le digo, you know, you were one of my fucking heroes, you know, and Chalinillo, and it's you know, to this day, I every time I see them, los miro con un chingo de gusto, but they were the ones that for me inspired me to sing, you know. As a matter of fact, the first song I recorded como solista was una canción que había grabado Chalinillo que se llama No Volveré. And I recorded it in the same tono de Chalinillo, and because I kind of sang it like him. Pero todos empezamos, I think, imitando a alguien. You know, that's what inspires us. Ahora, having said that, after you know, after some time, there has to be a point where you
find your own style.
Find your own sound. You know, like you get a little bit of here, a little bit of there, a little bit of there. And you make your own sound. You fucking lo pones en la licuadora, and that's your sound. You know? That's what you gotta do. Si te quedas imitando toda la vida, entonces, pues ahí sí, you know, there has to be some kind of improvement or some kind of where ahora sí que you
found your own path.
You find your own path, exactly. And for me, pues, the first two albums de solista were kind of on the imitating
stage.
And even the first album de Voces, I'll be honest, because Lionel y Almícar, they were a dueto, and I loved the way they sang. Y se me hacía like very underground, very very raw, you know. So I heard them, and that was probably one of the inspirations for us too, you know. They were two solistas, and then they would record together once in a while and sacaban discos así. Por eso se llamaban Lionel y Almícar, you know. And pero they definitely inspired, you know, Voces del Rancho, and so then once we recorded, pues that first album was kind of todavía a little bit imitating, not so much though, because together we sounded different, you know. By the second album we were already doing our own thing, you know, little by little it kind of progressed into what it is now.
Okay. So with being so busy with on the road all the time, how did you find time to learn lo que viene siendo las para grabar, to start your own studio, to start maybe I don't know how long you have with the actual record que viene siendo record label, no?
Label.
Yellow Room Music, pero like how did you start? How did you find the time for all of this?
But I was already producing before Voces. I was already producing music for different people before Voces, and then when Voces first started, pues como te dije al principio, we weren't gigging. We were just recording. Yo le pedí trabajo a Pedro Rivera. Don Pedro me dio trabajo de ingeniero.
Okay.
I told him, hey, pues, dame trabajo, soy ingeniero. And he was like, oh, okay, no, pues, mañana empiezas, he said. I was like, oh, fuck. I kind of lied to him. He told me, I remember I told him, dije, hey, dame trabajo. Dice, ¿a poco de qué? Digo, de ingeniero. Dice, ¿a poco eres ingeniero? Le digo, tengo años. Puro pinche pedo. Apenas, I lied to him. Don Pedro.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it. So he said, okay, mañana empiezas. La verga, dije, sobres. Siguiente día llegué ahí la mañana tempranito, a las 10, que me dijo, I walk into the studio, está el Chapo de Sinaloa, ready to record.
Fuck, ready to work?
What the fuck? Dije, qué pedo metí, you know?
Yeah.
Luckily, there was another engineer there. He kind of set everything up for me. He gave me his number. He said, if you have any problems, give me a call. And he took off. He used to work for CBS or some shit.
Yeah.
So homeboy took off, and me quedé yo, and everything went bien.
Smooth.
Very smooth. Y luego, como que that gave me more confidence. So ahí me quedé. Ahí duré casi 4 años ahí con Pedro. En el estudio. Y haz de cuenta que, pues ahí fue cuando I really learned to record, you know, because like I said, I never went to school for it. There was no videos. It was just trial and error. So I would, since he had a bunch of bands signed, un día llegaba un norteño, the next day llegaba una banda, the next day llegaba un mariachi, and it was just like that. So I had so much...
so many built up hours of
No, y aparte de eso, pues I had all these different instruments coming in, and I had no fucking idea how to record them because I'd never done it, you know? I had never recorded trumpets or fucking those. There was a bunch of stuff that I had never recorded. Pero ahí me tenían que enseñar, you know? So I pretty much learned at that studio. I would fuck things up, you know? There were sometimes that I was, como te digo, I was learning. Yeah. There was stuff that I would fuck up. Y al último año andaba tratando de arreglarlo, you know? Pero ahí fue donde, like, realmente I learned how to fucking record. So then I was producing albums there, you know, for Pedro. And then the whole Voces thing took off. So I told Pedro, es que muchas gracias. And, you know, thank you for the opportunity, but I don't need to work here anymore, you know.
Aparte,
for
ya
him,
no te ocupo.
yeah. No, but we were signed to him, so
Yeah.
a él le convenía. We
Oh,
were on the road
okay.
promoting the albums, and he was making money, you know.
Yeah.
So then he was like, no, todo bien. So, you know, hasta la fecha, you know, he's like, I see him like almost like a father figure, and he sees me like a son figure.
Yeah.
He told me before, and we still work together. So hasta la fecha, I work with all the family todavía.
Yeah.
So I stopped working there, but I never stopped producing albums.
Yeah.
I kept them. Ahora ya no tenía tanto tiempo to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But I still, entre esos años, you know, I still got to work, you know, que con Jenny, que con Lupillo, que con... I did a album for Gerardo when he was like 13 or 14. And I have it on the wall right there. And so then I was still working, you know. I was doing it at home, pero no tenía tanto tiempo, you know. Ya cuando our tours, they started slowing down a little bit, where we didn't have to travel as much and stay on the road, because antes it was like show after show after show after show.
Yeah.
So we didn't have time to come home. We would stay on the road a veces for a month and a half. Like, fuck, you know, living on the bus and in hotels, living out of your suitcase.
Yeah.
And now, you know, ya estoy más viejo. I don't like doing all that shit no more. So, you know, we book our tours, you know, más calmadonas, and I leave on the weekend, and if it's far, I fly out and I fly back. That's what I do. Para así I could be home. So once we started doing that, I said, I'm going to move the studio, because I used to have it at home, and I was like, I think if I really want to be recognized as a producer, I need to move from where I'm at, because aquí la gente no me toma en serio, you know? As nice as the recordings
I'm just
sound,
going to Edgar's house.
Yeah,
Like,
it kind of takes the formality out of it, you know? It's chill. Maybe it could be a little too chill.
Yeah.
And aparte de eso, pues it's not professional, you know? So then I was like, if I really, because I've always, honestly, my thing, my first love in music is producing albums.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love to do. I want to say I love it more than being on
more
stage.
than performing.
Yeah, it's not as pressure. I guess there's not as much pressure.
Más tranquilo, más.
I mean, I say that, but once I'm on stage, I fucking love it, bro. I love shit. You know, that rush, that fucking adrenaline you feel when people are fucking singing and fucking, you know.
Yeah.
You don't get it. You don't get it like anywhere else.
Yeah.
You can't fucking. There's no drugs. There's nothing that can match what that feels like. You know, shit. I want to say it's as good as sex, bro. Like that feeling when you have the crowd in the palm of your hand, and they fucking sing every fucking song, you know.
Te vino la botella, ya andamos, y they fucking un escandalazo ahí.
I love that. I live for that moment, you know, when I'm on stage. But when I'm here, I live for the magic moments where you capture that little magic. Oh, that's a take, you know. And you know, I've been fortunate enough to work on some pretty good albums that have made me feel that, and have done pretty well, you know.
And so how did you start Yellow Room? I mean, I know that you did. Obviously, lleva rato recording, but when were you like, you know what, I'm making a label? The
label idea started, fuck, man. Like, I mean, I've always wanted to have a label. Mm-hmm. I used to have a label because I'm Amable Records, because I don't know why the fuck.
Amable.
Because I was el compa Amable, and because I like Los Amables del Norte. That's where that comes from.
I think I did hear this.
Yeah. So, but I've always wanted to have a label, you know? And I think that was inspired like by Pedro Rivera, because he would record anybody that came through the door. If you can sing, okay, come on, let's go now.
Really?
Yeah, and so I was kind of on that thing about discovering talent, you know. Mm-hmm. So very early on, I started making albums and saying, okay, I'm gonna produce your album, and you know, because I've always wanted to be recognized as a producer. To me, like my idols, like Dr. Dre, Rick Rubin, these producers that have fucking created these humongous fucking albums. Those, to me, like I would look at the back of the CDs and all that shit, and it would say produced by Rick Rubin or produced by Doc. And to me, that was like, fuck, I wanted to say that.
Yeah, I want to say
by
that.
Edgar
Yeah,
Rodriguez, you know. And to me, you know, that was a big thing. So, once I decided to move to the studio, I was like, I need to find a place where people are gonna respect me, you know. So I was very fortunate enough to find this place. Well, I mean, I knew this place already because I would rent this studio out to do albums. As a matter of fact, fucking 20-something years ago, I did Micaela in this room. I finished it in this room.
Micaela.
Yeah, when this was in my studio. Never did I in a million years did I think that this place was gonna be mine.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking years later. Pero, it was just, I don't know, man. It's just so many things that have happened throughout the years. It's crazy, man.
So how difficult is it for you to obviously you to discover talent? It's pretty easy because you're around the people, you're around the
Yeah.
industry. You can hear, oh, hay un compa aquí, que un compa acá, and stuff like that. But how do you determine, like, you know what, I'm gonna sign this person, or I'm a put my time into this project, or I'm gonna do this? Like,
Yeah.
how do you make that decision?
Man,
As busy as you are, you know
it
what I
has to
mean?
be done very carefully, and it's just there has to be something about it that sparks interest.
Yeah,
It could be the way they sing, the way they move. It's just that little swag has to be there.
yeah,
Originality for me is very important, and that's something that I guess through the years you start realizing more because I remember, I mean, I've signed in my time. I've signed so many acts, and sometimes you sign them because they sound good, but then you realize, oh, they sound like so and so, and they sound like so
So
and
so
so.
what? Obviously, you signed a bunch of acts, but like, who are your most famous or most well known acts that you have
I
signed?
mean, unfortunately, it's been. I mean, aside from bosses, I think everybody else that we've had has just been like local talent that we
Yeah,
try to develop.
yeah,
But with that, it comes when you, especially now, when you sign an act, the act or the artist, when you sign an artist, the artist has to be as involved in their project as you are.
yes.
And I feel like that right there, I won't mention any names, but that right there is just where a lot of artists uh lack or they fail at that they don't they have to promote them. We're right now we're in a world where the artist has to be very active
Yeah,
promoting, being, doing TikToks and all that shit. It's
it's
part of the fucking,
it's
it's part of the show
tiresome,
right
but
now.
it's part of the
And a lot of people don't want to do that, and then they complain why they're not
hitting.
hitting it. But then you look at the acts that do that, and they're the ones that are on.
Yeah,
Unless you find like a fucking rare unicorn like fucking Junior H, which
yeah.
he doesn't
He didn't promote
he doesn't
shit.
promote shit. And people, he's fucking
Yeah,
biggest following. But that's like what they was. That's like fucking rare unicorn
yeah,
to find. But everybody else, they got to be on it.
yeah,
Boom, boom, every day, fucking posting shit. And it's just that people, you need to have people's attention, retain
yeah.
their attention, and a lot of the acts that we've signed, they don't put the time into it, and I feel that that's very important in this time.
And then sometimes the people that are grinding it out, that are really like not known, but they're echándole todas las ganas, se desmotivan a veces because they're just like, dude, like, I'm
Yeah.
fucking busting my ass, all this, and then that fucking guy that has the opportunity, that has the label, that has the recording time, that has the top-notch studios and musicians,
Yeah.
and no aprovechan, and
Yeah.
y se desmotivan los que sí realmente
See,
they're looking for that fucking
there has to
that
be
open door.
yeah, there has to be all the ingredients, and because I mean, right now we're in a time, como te digo, it's not just about talent. Obviously, talent is very
Yeah,
important, but there has to be that grind behind it. Because I guarantee you that a person with not so much talent but more grind will get
yeah,
way more ahead than the person
yeah,
with all the talent
yeah,
and no grind. And that's where it's at right now, bro. Because there, you could be super talented, but si no le echas ganas tú on your part, let people know what you have, let people know what you can do, and that right there is definitely a career killer.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that si no aprovechas that little spotlight you get. That's
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Y mucha gente piensa que ya cuando tienen un éxito, ya, they're done. No, you gotta fucking
yeah. You gotta
go and
fucking
keep
hit. You
going,
gotta keep going.
You gotta keep going y darle. O sea, si tienes un éxito, vámonos y you gotta have the next one ready, the next song ready. Y la que sigue, la que sigue. Porque si piensas que nomás sacan una canción every 2, 3 months, no va a pasar nada. You gotta be on it, bro. Unless you're a big name.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But like you said, how many actually people. Those are those rare unicorns, como dices.
Yeah,
Those junior H's that
yeah,
won't promote anything, but
yeah.
they're just a
But
hit,
they're
dude.
fucking
They're
popping.
people se atraen it's just naturally
See,
they got something, to
see,
them.
they got something, and it's. I mean, pero at the end of the day, uh, you have to have all the ingredients. You have to
Yeah,
have the talent, the charisma, For sure. Because you could be talented and have the grind, but if you don't have charisma,
Yeah.
people are gonna hate you.
Yeah.
You gotta connect with the people, you know, and that's right there. Because you know all these artists, they connect with the people, you know, they connect on a personal level. People, como ahorita la gente pues quiere saber lo que haces, lo que comes, cómo
Yeah.
duermes, qué carro manejas,
Yeah.
you
¿Qué
know.
color cagas y todo el
Sí,
rollo? O sea.
exactamente. Yeah, they want to know. They want to get very personal. They want to
Yeah.
know all that stuff. So the artists that are connecting with their people are the ones that are seeing the results. You
Yeah.
know.
So, who are your favorite? Or I mean, obviously, if we talk about your idols and stuff like that, but yeah, we're talking like the people right now that you see that are doing it. Like, who
Yeah.
are your favorite people?
Favorites. Oh
Unos
man.
five, unos cinco agrupaciones that you're just
Oh
like, you know what,
man.
these people are.
Pues I mean, definitely was like a Nata. You know, Nata. I feel like he's definitely one of the ones that changed the game. Nata Junior, Fuerza, those guys también. You know,
Yeah.
had the pleasure of working with those guys. We did an album for them. Y that dude, you know, he doesn't stop. He's
Yeah.
working 24 hours a day. You
Non-stop,
know,
yeah.
and you see the
It
results.
shows.
It shows. You know?
Yeah.
Y pues para mí Tucanes will always be la pinche punta del tren, bro.
Yeah.
Los Tucanes to me will always be, you know, the number one. And fuck, I don't know who. Peso, you gotta give him his flowers, man.
Yeah.
Dude is on top of the world right now, man.
Yeah,
and
that
you
dude
hear
is
it,
crazy.
you hear it, and you hear why, you know.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the team, you know. George Prahin is definitely killing it with that guy, you know. He knew what to do with them, you know.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's a bunch of people that he's had over the years, but this one he just completely fucking knocked it out of the park.
As far as people that you've worked with before, you know, you said you've worked with Fuerza, you've worked with a bunch of artists as well. Who was the artist that you had like the most fun or most easy to work with or most like it was like a very pleasurable experience?
Oh man, definitely Junior, bro. I think we did like about 5 albums in total, and every time it was very pleasant. He's very focused. Llega lo que llega. No viene with all the posse and you know, the whole fucking crew.
Yeah.
Llega con su gente que va a trabajar. Y si acaso uno más o dos de las cámaras, whatever, y a trabajar, bro. No, we don't waste no time, and we just, you know, we have fun, you know.
Yeah.
Gerardo Ortiz, another guy that, man, his work ethic is so awesome, you know. Right now we're working on an album, and it's such a pleasure to work with them, you know.
How is that feeling, bro, of knowing that you're recording the songs right now that you know, damn, these fucking songs are gonna hit, bro.
Man, it's
like how it must be so hard not to post them, obviously, because you can't, you have to give them your professionalism of not posting or not sharing or not even showing, your friends or what have you. But like, how is that feeling? Like, damn, like you're so anxious. You have the
I'm
you
so
know,
anxious for people to hear these songs.
Yeah.
Bro. I thought we're doing a fucking amazing ass album, bro. And I mean, I've always been a fan of Hera. He's such an amazing person, you know, and very talented, you know. El vato tiene, I mean, it's he started a whole movement, you know. Entonces, right now, pues te digo, we're working on an album, and it's definitely gonna be something that's gonna, I feel is gonna la va a romper otra vez, you know.
Now, you mentioned a little bit earlier that at the beginning, pues no sabías nada de the music industry. Obviously, me imagino que viene siendo de regalías, masters, all that stuff.
Yeah.
How important was that, for you to learn all that stuff? Like, how important is it for any musician to come up and actually like learn all about that, the in depths of the business?
It's fuck, man. It's one of the most important things that people should learn. You know, the business end of it. I mean, most of us when we start, you know, we're so happy to be doing it. Como te dije earlier, I was just so happy that somebody was paying for my recordings. I wish I would have known, you know, how it really works. You know, pero it's something that everybody should learn. Y ahora, pues, in the day and age that we're in now, you know, there's so much information out there that you can just go and Google that shit, you know, or go into. There's so many ways to find out. You go on fucking YouTube and somebody who's gonna talk about it, you know.
Yeah.
It's just up to the people, porque no nomás es the art part of it. There's
Yeah.
there's a business, but it's a show business.
Yeah.
We all know the show part about it. You
Yeah.
need to learn the business a little
Yeah.
bit too, because if you don't, you're setting yourself up for a disaster. And then al rato you're mad and you're trying to sue people,
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
you go to court and you realize that you signed it all away, and then
Yeah.
you're fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
not to say that the person that helped you out did that,
Yeah.
right? But it is keen of you to say that, like, oh, learn the business. It's very
Learn the
important for you to
business.
learn the business.
For sure.
Obviously, as an upcoming artist and you having that experience of oh, I should have learned it, then I could have been.
Yeah.
But now that you're a record label and now you have those artists under you,
Yeah.
do you still try to um influence them and saying, you got to learn your business,
Oh yeah.
or
Oh yeah. They have to. They
or,
have
or
to.
do you, like, I don't want to say, obviously, um, no aprovecharse the artist or anything like that, but in situations like this, donde te convendría to not say much about that, but
Yeah.
you still yourself try to.
Yeah, I do, because I come from being an artist.
Yeah.
So I know what it's like
Yeah.
to get fucked over.
Yeah.
And that's something that that we talked about. Me and the family.
Yeah.
Because it's a business that I share with my brother and his
Yeah.
wife and my wife and myself. And that's something we talked about.
Yeah.
Let's have todo bien para que nos vaya bien y que no haya
Exactly,
pedos,
yeah.
Porque when you start doing shady shit, I mean, te puede ir bien, pero pues, te puede ir bien maybe in that, pero por acá te va a ir mal otra cosa.
Yeah.
And I feel, the karma is real as fuck, bro.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like, so I was like, let's just do things right,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
do things right and
Morally feeling right too,
sí, yeah, para estar a gusto y dormir a gusto y no que no hagas alguien que diga, no, pues este güey me chingó y la chingada,
It's because you hear, and again, not to say names, not to say what labels exactly, but
Yeah.
there's two famous labels that are known,
Yeah.
pero también, like you said, it all has to do with knowing
yeah.
your stuff, because
Es que ya,
I
no.
can bitch and complain all fucking day about
Exactamente.
that you fucked me, you took my money, you did all this stuff. Cuando
And in reality, they're not, to be honest, I mean, they're not fucking over anybody, whoever does that, because they're giving the people the contract. They're like, here, read the contract.
Exactly.
And then you say, okay, I don't want to read it. I don't want to read it, because I could tell you, hey, el contrato dice que te va a dar $1 million en
Yeah.
5 años. And you'll be like, okay, I'll sign it, boom,
Yeah.
without reading it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will do that. I mean, people get advances, a lot of people think, oh, me están dando feria adelantado porque soy talentoso. No, cabrón, te están adelantando feria que tú vas a deber.
Yeah.
Si te adelantan 50,000 bolas para que pagues esos 50,
Yeah.
you got to know, though.
You have to read it, pues.
You have to read the contract. You got to read the contracts and understand what you're signing. I always tell my people, when I give them a contract, please understand it before you sign it. Take it to an attorney.
Yeah.
Para que te lo explique, porque si tú me dices que yo te lo explique, yo te lo voy a explicar, yo te puedo decir, yo te puedo echar mentiras si tú nomás, ahí dice esto y esto y esto,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, pero digo, I can easily do that and have them sign away shit that, they probably shouldn't, pero I always tell them, go take it to an attorney,
If you're comfortable with with what we have here,
and then before we sign it, understand it, and para que no haya broncas y que no haya, no, pues tú me dijiste, so I always los aconsejo eso para que no haya broncas después. Yeah.
That's just goes to show, like, what kind of person.
I do it, digo, porque I come from the artist's
Yeah.
point of view, and I see it, and it's fucked up. It's
Yeah.
fucked up because we all started in this because we love it, and it's something that we enjoy. Pero pues también, we got to think about the future. We got to think about, I mean, like, especially like if you have kids or you have family, you got to think about, your future.
Because of those previous experiences, like with different agrupaciones and what we hear as upcoming musicians, right? About all these record labels are just trying to fuck you over. Have you had people come over here with to you and say, "Oh, I want to sign," but como querer imponerse, like be a little bit more on the defensive? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and it happens. And I mean, también para eso, pues, ¿qué te puedo decir? Like, it's like, si eres un grupo que va comenzando, pues, you can't really demand.
Demand too much.
Because there's no, your numbers don't back it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can't come and say, hey, I need you to give me this much and this and that, and But if you have 75 listeners on Spotify,
Yeah.
you know, numbers don't lie. We're in a day and age where numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
You know, like I always tell my guys, because I had some bands in the past, you know, they got 100,000 plays on Spotify, and they were expecting a check for $100,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, dude, that doesn't work that way.
Doesn't even
No, that's probably like
doesn't
fucking
even
$10,
translate into
you know,
that.
or
Yeah.
I don't know, $5 they're gonna give us, you know.
Yeah.
You got. I always tell like the people, you know, when we sign them, you know, you're gonna know cuando estés pegando.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna see your numbers on Spotify. And you're gonna see that you have, you know, 1 million listeners a month.
Yeah.
You're gonna know if you see 1 million listeners a month and you're not getting any money from me,
Yeah.
or receiving any money, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Once you see, you know, your numbers popping, then you're gonna know.
Yeah.
You know, the artist will know when they're doing something, because, como te digo, los numbers don't lie.
Not even that. Like you get more. Obviously, a more following on Instagram, more following on TikTok, I'm more following on everything.
Yeah.
Like you'll start noticing cuando estás pegando.
For sure.
But you can't just come in and demand stuff that.
Yeah, because nomás you know, yo digo que yeah, no, it has to be, you know, tiene que reflejar los números.
It has to make sense for both of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, compa, I honestly would love to fucking chat this up the most I can, you know. But like you know prior, you know, I que tratar to constrain our time to fucking a certain amount of time on the pod, right? But I would love to come back and talk to you again,
claro
compa.
Sí,
make it a part 2. Gio,
it.
¿cuánto tiempo tenemos ahí? You're not sure? Oh, because you're not marking the thing, huh?
Yeah.
But, compa, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for the space, man.
As a big fan of yours, honestly, I appreciate. We all know you're a busy man. We all know what you got going on, and I appreciate you taking time. Now, I would want to bother you with one more thing.
A ver.
If you could. Si no se puede, no se puede. We can cut this shit out if you want. But if we can play unos 2 or 3 rolas,
let's do it.
I think that'd be awesome. I'm
Cantamos.
not that much of a sextero, though. I do fucking want to tell you that, you know?
Okay, dale pues.
First thing that comes to mind when you hear what I'm going to say. All right. In a few words. Chalino.
Idol.
Lupillo.
Compa.
Tucanes.
Fucking goats.
Peso Pluma.
I don't know him yet. Nathanael, fucking crazy talented motherfucker.
Don Pedro Rivera.
Pedro Rivera is like a second father to me.
Corridos,
fuck, man. Oh, man. Corridos is just a fucking movement. It's my life, you know.
El Diablo en una botella.
Fuck. Pay for the studio.
Las Voces del Rancho.
Fuck, La Voz del Rancho, that's fucking half my heart right there, bro.
And lastly, Yellow Room Music.
That's the other half.
For
well,
sure.
in the professional level, because, you know, my family.
Yeah.
Pero yeah, that's definitely it right there.
Well, you are a family man, no?
I'm a family man, bro. You know, I'm very fortunate to, you know, to have my grown kids, you know. I have a boy también ahí que es nuestro sobrino, pero pues vive con nosotros, and he's like my boy too, and y pues my wife, you know, that holds it down.
Yeah, you have a daughter, compa?
I have 2 daughters.
2 daughters?
2 daughters, una de 27 y una de 24. Y pues un sobrino, pues que es como our boy, he's 14.
Yeah. The only reason why I asked you that, compa, es que I was mentioning to my compa Gio, I have a 5-year-old daughter that's in kindergarten.
Oh, yeah.
So hoy I went to pick her up from school today, and she came up to me and she media molesta, you know? And I'm like, what's wrong, baby? Like, she's happy to see me when I pick her up and whatnot. And I'm like, what's wrong, baby? And then she goes, some boy came up to me and gave me a heart, and he said that
man.
he said he goes she said that I'm his crush, or that I want to be his crush. I guess he didn't really understand what the fuck he was saying. And then he goes, but I don't like him, Dad. Like, listen to this. You told me not to have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't know how to react, bro. And I was just like,
it's tough, bro, when you have
like,
girls, man. It's tough. I remember when my first daughter told me she had a boyfriend. I want to say it was both of them actually. I think I cried, bro. I think I cried on both times, bro, because it's just, they're your little babies, and then, y otro cabrón y se las quiere llevar.
Sí, no, sí.
Nah, but you know what? It's part of growing up, bro. La neta, at the end of the day, if you have a good relationship with them, it's beautiful. I'm very blessed to have such an amazing relationship with my kids. That we talk about everything, and it's beautiful. That's fucking. I always say, my biggest. I mean, I've been very fortunate to do a lot of things in my life, and amazing things.
Yeah.
But I always say my biggest accomplishment is my family, my kids, and that, to me, that's I live for that, and I work for that. Everything I do, I always think, whatever I'm doing now, it's not gonna be for me.
No, exactly.
It's gonna be for my family. When el día que primero Dios que I've been here for a long time, pero el día que llegue a faltar yo, I want them to be taken care of. So that's why I'm working my ass off right now. A veces me desvelo un chingo and I am on the road, and I'm in here a lot of hours, pero I do it for them.
Yeah.
Porque obviously I enjoy it too, but at the end of the day, it's when all said is done, they're the ones that are gonna enjoy that. Yeah.
Compa, thank you again. Thank you. I appreciate you, man, for your time, bro. Thank you. El diablo en una botella de mí nomás se burlaba al ver que yo de una estrella más y más me enamoraba. Andaba la noche aquella con una daga clavada. Le dijo una cantinera: pues hombre, ¿a ti qué te pasa? Ya deja la borrachera, vete a dormir a tu casa. Le dije: la suerte, perra, la que a mi vida se abraza. ¿Cuál más sigue? Aquel día, ¿no? Seguí vagando en la noche con mi botella en la mano. Aquella noche un mariachi tocaba al abandonado. Brotaba mi llanto a mares por ese amor desgraciado. Aquel día lo embotellado y ya por mis venas corría, y yo muy apasionado pensando en ella bebía, y como estrella que era me la robó el nuevo día. Caña en su ranchito querido buscaban a Baltasar para llevarlo al presidio. Eran buenos cazadores con experiencia al codillo. Un venador ampareado es difícil de atrapar, aunque le ponga la trampa, tiene experiencia al brincar. Se quedaron con las ganas, se les peló Baltasar. Solo el que carga el morral le sabe su contenido, por eso la federal quería llevarlo al presidio. No se les comprobó nada, se les bajó en el camino. Se fue con rumbo a la sierra, montado en su bailador, su caballo preferido, que lo quiere con honor. Lo mismo baila un guapango que un corrido, una canción.
Ay, Culiacán tan hermoso, desde el filo de la sierra, tus luces yo la diviso, como mirar en las estrellas, como extraño a mis amigos, también a mi linda güera. Los compas de Sinaloa van a empezar a tomar, ya que las voces de rancho están listos para cantar. El mérito 6 de enero se festeja Baltasar. Ande, cabrón. Más ronco, ¿ah?
Compadre, haré fucking ese último verso, ya ves que siempre lo cambian en la fucking musica.com. Depending on who you hear, bro.
The original version is: afilen los instrumentos para empezar a cantar con un conjunto norteño o una banda regional. But we said, I remember when we did it, we were like, oh, let's change it, like, to be our own shit,
Compa, thank you so much, bro. Again, I do want to do a part 2. We didn't get into the podcasting. We didn't get into none of that, compa. And again, but I don't want to keep you too long either, compa. And I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Ahí para la otra entonces.
Ahí estamos. Saludos.
Saludos todos. Tune into the next episode, guys. The Jorge Razo podcast. Shout out to my boys from the Garage Cast que ando fucking repping their hat all the fucking time. No es porque los apoye mucho, es que ya no tengo gorras, así que ay, para que me regalen otra, compadre. Shout out to them. New Generation Barbershop. Shout out to my guys. Gio Stato behind the cameras. Guest the Ropes podcast, que ya nos tiene allí también en su logotipo, ya lo miré. And yeah, guys, tune in for the next episode. Nos vemos. Saludos.
Estamos. Saludos.